All right, welcome back to today's verdict. I'm your host and trial attorney, David Lesch. We have with us today José Hernandez from the Consumer Directed Personal Assistance Association of New York State. Did I get that
Yes,
right?
sir. It's a mouthful.
Wow, a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but you're doing some good work, and we want to focus today on the fair pay for home care. Maybe you could tell the viewers a little bit about why you're here today.
So I have a personal stake in this. I am a person with a disability who receives 24-hour home care. And over the last 5, 6 years, it has become increasingly difficult to find home care workers to replace the ones that have come and gone due to the low wages. This is a phenomenon that wasn't happening, say, 15 years ago, because at the time, New York State's minimum wage was $7 an hour, and home care workers were making $10 and over. So we can find home care workers easier. Now we're trying to compete with the fast food industry that are paying up or more than the minimum wage.
It's funny you say that because to qualify for home care, it takes a lot more than just qualifying for someone who's working in the restaurant industry. I mean, you really have to go through so there's some testing and you have to get some schooling in there. When did you first notice that you were not getting substitutions of home care? How long ago did this really start to happen?
So when New York State decided that the minimum wage was going to increase, it increased across the board. It didn't matter if you was in the food service industry or in the home care industry. Everyone was at $15 an hour. So once that started to happen, individuals realized I can make the same amount of money working for a different company, and there was a lot more competition in the industry. So companies like from the fast food industry and Amazon started realizing that they can bring in more employees if they pay a little bit more. So it may not seem a lot, but companies who are paying $16, $17 an hour are really attracting home care workers to work for their companies. So around about the time that the minimum wage all leveled out across the state.
I'm going to read you a statistic. It says between 2021 and 2040, the New York State is projected to grow by 3%. But the 65 plus population, that'll be me, will grow by 25%. You'll have nearly 1 million job openings in home care by 2028. Where are we going to find these people?
If nothing changes, if we don't get the wage increases to attract new home care workers, a lot of those individuals are not going to go without much needed care or end up in nursing homes.
So where, tell me how you propose we do it. What do we raise the minimum wage to? And then once we do, maybe the second question you can answer is how do we get the word out so people know? Let's start with what do we raise the money up to?
A couple of years ago, we came up with the concept of fair pay for home care. And it was basically putting back the standard of the way it was before, when the minimum wage was $7 an hour and home care workers were getting paid 10. It was roughly 150% of the minimum wage. So in 2021 or 2022, 150% of the minimum wage, which was $15 an hour, would have been $22.50. We got an increase. Governor Hochul gave great down payment. It was $3, supposed to be spread over the next 2 years. $2 were implemented in October. Another $1 increase would be next October. But that alone isn't enough to attract new home care workers because, again, Amazon is paying $21 an hour with a $3,000 bonus. So we need more. So we want that 150%. We want to get to that number. That is the magic number that will hopefully bring in more home care workers and, most importantly, raise them out of poverty.
And it looks like you have, I mean, there's a lot of people who are behind you here. I mean, it looks like you have And from what I see, you have so many assembly members and a majority of it looks like the assembly. When is this going to happen? When do you think this could happen?
Well, we have already started to roll out the campaign. We have had events in Western New York, Capital Region, and I was at the New York City launch where Jamani Williams, Assemblymember Reyes, Assemblymember Septimo, Assemblymember Forrest, Assemblymember Rosenthal, and Assemblymember Epstein attended. And we just need to continue to, you know, bring this to their attention, get more support in the assembly and in the Senate, and hopefully the governor really realizes how critical this is to keep individuals with disabilities out of nursing homes and make sure that our older population is also taken care of.
But do you find that's what happens when there's somebody who's not available to provide the support that you may need or somebody else might need, that your only next option is to end up in a nursing home? I mean, because where else are you going to go if you don't have family members who can do it? And a lot of times they can't. Isn't that really what ends up happening? They all overcrowd our nursing homes.
I'm also going to give you a few other scenarios. I
Sure.
know individuals with disabilities who end up staying alone without care. These are individuals who use motorized wheelchairs and can't turn in bed, but they either sleep in their chairs because they're more mobile, or they lay on one side of their bodies and get pressure sores. And this is where, our health is being is compromised because of not having the proper care. And there's even individuals who have chosen to stay in nursing homes because they can't worry about where the next person is going to come to help take care of them. So it's a really critical issue. People are really being hurt by this.
Where do you see us in the next 2 to 5 years? Give me a crystal ball. Give me your prediction. Where do you think we're going in New York?
Without fair pay for without fair pay for
Well,
home care,
well,
or
where do you think we're heading? Do you think it's just going to be the fair pay? Do you think there's going to be even more support that those with disabilities can get, and even in other ways? What are your thoughts?
I think I'm hoping that this current administration doesn't take a page from the previous administration and it values individuals with disabilities and older New Yorkers more. There was such a disinvestment in home care from the previous administration, and we just want to live in the community and be valued like everyone else. Seniors want to age in place. We don't want to be placed into a nursing home where it's 18 residents for one worker. We get better care, we have better outcomes, we get access to better doctors, and hoping Governor Hochul realizes that, in her 5-year plan or in her term, she realizes that, we are valued.
All right, Jose. Well, we want to thank you very much for coming on. Hopefully, you can come back maybe in the next couple of months and let us know how the fair pay for home care is heading. If you could do that for us.
Absolutely. You let me know, and I live in the Bronx, so I can come down to Lehman.
That's what I love to hear. Bronxite like me. All right, stay with us. Today's verdict has so much more right after this.